65% less demand for tech workers who have just 1 to 2 experience. Era of an international student coming without any experience to US for undergrad or masters and grabbing that 250k job in Silicon Valley as a software engineer is over. And AI is actually accelerating that era of causing more job loss of not just international students but also American students out there. Now this video is not to scare you but to prepare you if you're coming to the US. If you're not coming to the US, how you can explore the options you have. And to get started, first of all, I'm going to share the craziest data that 30 to 40% less international students are coming to the US. This data is by NAFSA, which stands for National Associations of Foreign Student Advisors. It's an official trusted organization. Ignore the full form, but right now the new international enrollment predictions are out there. These are still predictions. These can be fixed at any point of time, remember that. And the predictions say that 30 to 40% less international students right here will be coming to US this year. If it was expected that $45 billion will be added to US economy, it's going to be $39 billion with $7 billion less and costing 60,000 American jobs. Now, what is causing that decline? There are multiple factors. The number one is visa interview suspension. We all know that between May 27 to June 18, there were no F1 visa issued, so that led to the decline. And also, these declines actually affected these 4 countries. Number 1, India. Number 2, China. Number 3, Nigeria. And number 4, Japan. And most importantly, this downward visa trend accelerated because even the strictness was increased. For example, F1 visa issuance was down by 12% from January to April and 22% in May. And visa bans were also issued against 19 countries, which actually accelerated this decline. But now, ignoring this data, don't be extremely worried. US is founded on immigration. If you think about Silicon Valley's hottest job right now, AI, where does that employee comes from? 50% of AI engineers, AI researchers come from China. Every second AI researcher in the US, in the world, comes from China. So if they had to ban immigration just on China, just imagine the AI growth will stop in the US. So don't be too worried about this data. Every immigrant is very important towards AI growth, which is the priority of this country right now. And if the country which is founded on immigration, if some laws are here and there, whether it is pandemic or whether it is self-inflicted damage, it can be reversed very quickly as well, whether in 1 year, 2 years or 3 years. So don't be too panicky here. Some students are actually joining online semesters, just like it happened in COVID. So just ignore this step right now. But now let's focus on the next step, which is if you get F1 visa, what are the next steps you need to take in order to actually accelerate your career in the US and actually to compete, because this market is very competitive. Look at these articles, which you guys don't read, but I'm going to show you still, that Silicon Valley is in hard tech era. These articles clearly say that Silicon Valley is in an era from 2022 when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, when it was questioning how do we improve HR system, or how do we improve culture, diversity, equity, inclusion, include everyone, giving flexibility, maximum benefits. Same era when even dry cleaning services, massage, everything was free. Now it is in an era where how can we have fewest number of steps involved and fewest number of people need to pay our employees. This analysis also says there is 65% less demand for tech workers who have just 1 to 2 experience. At the same time, the good news is the growth in software engineering jobs may decline, but the total number of people using and involved in software engineering will increase. So basically, without coding abilities, when you can be involved in programming by just typing prompts, the number of people actually building stuff will increase. So coders in tech world will decrease, but coding without tech world will increase. So what I'm trying to say is you need to take advantage of this data as much as possible. This data is directionally taking you towards the era where one person would be able to build as much they had never been able to in the past. So when one person can build as much as possible that was never possible before, you need to think from the founder-led mentality. And if your F1 visa is approved, you're ready to come to the US, don't forget to check out singinusa.com and you will be able to find my hand-chosen things you need to do as soon as you land, such as getting the bank account with Adro, such as getting the SIM card 5G plan from mintmobile.com, because at $15 a month, it gives you unlimited data, unlimited text messages, and it's one of the best deals for all international students I've been using from the last 5 years. And you can get it before coming to the US as eSIM immediately. All the list of things and the backpack I recommend is on the website. Please check out. So basically, we had already thought of this era before AI, and now AI is actually helping us accomplish the goal of making employees like us less important, and the rarity of field. Like for example, AI engineers are rare, most important as compared to us software engineers. And this era is going to accelerate, and no one even knows how far it's going to be. So you guys have to be prepared. I'm going to tell you all the metrics that you need to know so that you're preparing well. I'm going to show you next the important data from Wall Street Journal. Now here comes the important data that AI is actually wrecking an already fragile job market. Look at the graduation year. So students who were graduating in 2017, they were adding to the labor force. 2018 as well. 2019, it led down to a decrease. But in 2023, it started to a decrease, and it's continuing to a next level that people who are graduating between the age of 22 and 27 are least present in the job force, least in demand in the job force, versus people who are older. 2008, if you see, people between 22 to 27 were least affected in 2008 recession, but right now they're most affected in 2025 or 23, 24 job market recession, and they are the least in demand right now. There used to be a time that, like, fresh graduates are cheap labor, so companies train them and make it to the level of a senior developer, and then they increase their salary when they are performing well. But now these companies are just asking for people who are experienced, less time required to train them, less time to onboard, so they are fast, efficient, quickly. There used to be time that Google used to have 1 to 2 months of training to onboard a new engineer. Since Elon Musk acquired Twitter, it set a record, set an inspiration for Silicon Valley that you can be productive without hiring more people. You can onboard people quickly. And in New York Times even talk about there need to be tech workers unionization to be against it, so that there is more equity between employees. That is up to you to think about. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to compete in this very highly competitive market. You need to be, first of all, show that you are like a senior developer, and at the same time you need to show that you will not be an average AI coder, always dependent on Cursor, always just using Claude Code to code. You have to prove for yourself that you'll be building applications and using your own creativity. In a world of AI, I want to share one more example. Like in the US, like poor people eat unhealthy food and they become obese. Same is with reading quality information. Rich people read articles fully, read actual books. Poor people go summarize and read brain rotten content scrolling on TikTok reels. So there is a direct relationship between how well you are educated versus the quality content you're consuming. So be that rich guy in mindset and read that quality information rather than being the poor guy who is scrolling and getting the wrong information. So fix that information, and you can start, if you want to get into in the world of AI, with my favorite newsletter, which is called news.ycombinator.com and news.small.ai. So small.ai is one of my favorite newsletter, not sponsored by the way. It actually day by day summarizes every day what is happening in AI. And when you click on this summary, it has one paragraph. It tells you that it collects all the news from Twitter, Reddit, Discord, and all the groups it collected the news from is mentioned. And then it creates a paragraph for each heading, and you can read in depth if you want to and summarize. So it is curated at the best level. Plus, you need to read in depth. Like, of course, taking this data as an inspiration is fine, but clicking on that data, reading in depth from New York Times, Wall Street Journal, or whether you read data from AI researchers or from Anthropic, in depth is important. Like, summaries are not giving you quality information. I'm telling you once again, AI agents, no matter how big the hype is, you should still remember that it is shrinking information. Humans learn through stories. If I tell you the story of how this guy delivered resume while doing Uber Eats and DoorDash and got 10 interviews, you will be more hooked than by just reading summary of 4 bullet points. You'll never remember those 4 bullet points. So it's important to get in-depth information, whether it's books, articles, and go in depth of as much you can. Now, number 2, let's talk about cold emails and networking, which everyone talks about. But important thing here is that people do this mistake over and over again. They are using Apollo AI tools to mass email, which I'll show you all. But remember, whenever you are sending an email, of course, you personalize it. You say that I am future Tesla Microsoft engineer. Some people even write in their resume, future Tesla engineer. Personalizing is fine. But think, when you are sending an email, think from a human to human level, that it makes you excited as compared to human to corporation. Rather than addressing that I'll be a great asset to Microsoft, address from a human to human level what this particular human is facing. For example, you are reaching out to an HR and you are solving a problem of a, let's say, Microsoft Excel team or Tesla's self-driving program. Particular, deeper, specific, as much as possible, specific detail. When you're reaching out to, let's say, Apple, specify the app, specify the hardware, camera sensor, which team excites you, and quote that as much as possible. And let me show you now the coolest cold email templates that I'm going to show you right now. This is by Ben, a newsletter called Next Play on Substack that I follow a lot. Hey, my name is Neeraj Pant. I understand your time is valuable. I only write 3 bullet points. Programming since 8th grade. Have the most experience working in Java Objective-C. Want to intern for Snapchat this summer. It's so cool, so precise and concise. It's fascinating. If I had to improve this, I will add a bullet point about why I'm sending to you as compared to anyone else. Give some reason, give some context. I would add one line that, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I think you are the coolest guy in XYZ. Something personal, more personal. And look at this cold email. Hey, Rayan, your product is so good. This is one of my favorite. Used it last week for reason and impressed by how good the notification selection timing is. So first, appreciation and specific product he's quoting about. Maybe he saw some problem, you can quote about it. Question, how are you doing on copywriting at the moment? Because I write for startups, and now he's finding the problem where he can fill the gap by actually getting hired. Don't want to blast you with a wall of text, so replying with my work background, that's mostly on the side, and my email address. Happy to share bunch of past work if it would be helpful. So he is leaving the email with not too much details, but actually curiosity on the table that makes people think and more excited. What can this guy bring on the table if I hire him? I really want to talk to this guy. This is my favorite cold email out there, which leaves, first of all, it's concise, leaves curiosity on the table that I don't know a complete picture about who this guy is. Forget about hiring email. Even for YC startups, when they teach you, they ask you not to quote the price, because you need to leave curiosity on the table and then later on figure out a price. That's the strategy I'm teaching you here. Third email, let's read that as well. Hey Kevin, heard about company from a friend. Now this guy is telling why I'm reaching out to you first. I'm emailing you because I saw you just raised seed round and I would like to help you build the product. 2 things that might be relevant. Number 1, the ARR that way he has fulfilled XYZ, and then number 2, his personal project which he is showing off, and then can I share more about it? Curiosity on the table, and then I can help you build XYZ and a promise in the end. Fascinating. This is also one of my favorite. Second and third cold emails are my favorite, which you can learn from. Now, number 3 step is actually sending mass emails but personalizing it with AI, and it should not seem personalized, because everyone is using Apollo, sending thousands of emails a day, but they don't work out because AI is smart enough to catch if that email was mass sent as well. So for that reason, I have my Claude app there, which I use for free to send mass emails. So let me give you an example. I've created a project on my Claude. So in the project that I've created using Claude, I have connected MCP with my email with only draft permissions, not send permission. I told you in my Perplexity comment browser video as well that I'm scared of giving too many permissions, and I've given permission only to draft an email. So here I ask you search for 10 amazing founders, creators, and draft draft the email. So it searches for 10 people like Dario and top folks out there if I want to interview. And then if I show you my Outlook, all these 10 drafts are there, which is fascinating. And in those 10 drafts, email is already fulfilled. It searches for emails. You can connect to Perplexity search API on Claude if you want to through MCP or Exa. There is so many search tools out there. And then it will write the email. It is pretty big, by the way, in this cold email. You see that it's first of all, my rule is first line compliment. Oh, I compliment that this startup is going fast, vagara, vagara. And then a few lines about me, and then it just figures out. It does a great job. I still need to figure out and fix the template, make it more concise and fine tune it. But what I'm trying to say is just by writing a prompt, it searches, fills the subject in that email draft, and you just need to hit the send button by editing it a little bit here and there. So that's the way I do it. Don't just completely rely on automation. I've automated till the level of drafting an email, not sending it, which I'm scared about. So these are my few strategies, and do not forget to check out Sing in USA for all the recommendations as an international student coming to the US. Thank you so much for watching.